How you going? I'm tired this morning. I know you guys were sitting here last night. I wasn't sitting here last night. I went out, but I shouldn't have done that because now I'm struggling this morning. Has anyone heard me speak before? Cool. Oh, you have? For those who haven't heard me speak before, I am who I am. Anyone ever seen the Muppets? You know the two old farts that sit up the top that don't like anyone? It's normally two in every audience I speak that just don't like me. I don't care. Just thought I'd let you know. But the way that I do business, the way that I speak, the way that I do life is my way. And so what I have to say today, 100% guarantee it works for me. So all I can do is talk about what I did and how I did it. And as from my understanding, I know you've probably been asked a million times, but in this room, does everyone own a business? Is that where we're going? Yep. No one. Does people not own a business? And you want to start a business? Sweet. So what I'm going to do is talk from both aspects of it all. From my perspective, when it comes, I think business is the best form of wealth creation, to be totally honest, because you can control that. But my other theory on that too is if you give a dickhead $1 million, you now have a dickhead with $1 million. So nothing's really changed. So I'd also try not to be a dickhead at the same time. So whilst I will talk a lot about wealth creation, you'll also see that I touch on an aspect of self-creation, because as the person running the business and owning the business, you've got to make sure that you're working on yourself at the same time. I'm not the fruit bat type bloke. There won't be any putting it out to the universe or walking on hot coals for me, because when you walk on hot coals, you get hot feet. So, but what I do is look at an area of common sense, and you'll see that. Now, just in case you are one of those Muppets and you're thinking to yourself, well, what have you done? What's your business credentials? So I thought I might do that straight away, if that's all right. So my business credentials are pretty simple. I've never done a profit and loss. I've never done a forecast, never done a budget, never borrowed money, never had an overdraft, and the only thing I passed in school was lunchtime. So that's my business credentials right there and then. But what I did do is I got off my little rumpty dar and gave something a crack. And I think in business, especially these days, this is really deep. This is about as guru-y as I get. But my theory to success is if what you're doing right now is working for you, it's the right way. And if it's not working for you, it's the wrong way. So, and in business, I think if you start to understand that and run your business from that perspective only, you can then make a change if it's not working. My favourite four-letter word is next. So in business, if things don't work, I just then go and change it. And I'll talk about my new brand later on, which is Intimidate, on how I've had to do that and change that around to keep on with momentum. So the reason that we start businesses, for everyone in the room and those who haven't yet, this is applicable too, there's so many different reasons as to why we all start a business. Some people start businesses because they want a better lifestyle. Some people start a business because they want to be, I don't understand this one, the master of their own destiny. I sat next to a numbnut on a plane recently. I hate sitting next to people on planes because if they're stupid, you're stuck with them the whole time. So you can't ask for another seat. But I sat down, I was on the front cover of the Voyeur magazine. I said this somewhere the other day, and the lady had never heard of the Voyeur magazine, and she thought the Voyeur magazine was a magazine about people that look in people's windows. But I sat on the Voyeur magazine. If you don't know what that is, by the way, it is not a pervert's magazine. It is the Virgin Blue magazine. I was on the front cover of that, and I sat on the plane, and this guy goes, I know who you are. I said, that's good to know. And he said, I'm a businessman too. I said, that's fantastic. I said, why did you start a business? And he said, I started a business because I wanted some spare time. Idiot. So there's different reasons why we start businesses. My reason was pretty simple. My father is a minister, and I know you're thinking that because I do look so angelic. And he was the head of the religion when I was growing up. And I've got no problem with all of that stuff, but the problem that I do have with being a minister's kid is that everyone inside the church seems to think it's their job to tell you how to live your life. The problem I've got with that is I've got a rare disease, and that disease is I speak before I think. So people come up to me and say, Justin, you've got this problem in your life. And I'd say, well, you really suck in yours. I'm not sure why you're telling me what to do. Apparently you don't say that to ministers' wives. So anyway, in 1995, a lady came up to me and she said, Justin, you have an attitude problem. I said, no, I don't. She said, you answer everyone back. I said, no, I don't. She said, until you stop doing that, you're going to end up on the scrap heap of life. I'm not sure where the scrap heap is, but there's a whole heap of pissed off people somewhere in the world getting upset with each other. My reason for starting my first business was pretty simple. I thought if I can get my mates to wear my attitude problem on the back of a T-shirt and go to church, I don't have to go to church anymore to upset this lady. I can upset her by default. That was my business plan, was just to piss this lady off. There was no other reason. That was the only thing. I didn't think I was going to go anywhere. I just wanted to upset her that weekend and then come up with another plan to upset her the following weekend. So that was the best one I could come up with. So when we start business, as we all know, you have to go and do research when you start a business. So I went and did my financial research. I went to the local ATM machine. I put my key card in the ATM machine. And at age 25, I had $1.25 in the bank. Now, you can't upset someone with $1.25. So I rang my brother up, little brother, and said, Dean, I need to borrow some money. He said, why? I said, because I want to piss off so-and-so in Dad's church. He goes, all right, here's $50. It was like a donation. I was filthy rich then. So then I had to go and do my market research. My market research was pretty simple. I had a Mini back in those days, but I had no fuel in the Mini. And I didn't want to use my working capital for fuel, so my parents gave me $5. Now, if you ever owned a Mini, $5 gets you a very long way. So my research was how far would that get me and back, and how many printers would be in that area. There was one. So I rang up Marty. Marty was one of my best mates at the time, and I rang him up and I said, mate, I'm going to start a business today. He said, you know how? I said, nope. He said, can I come along and watch then? I said, you sure can. Let's go. So we went out to this printer. Walked in and I said to the guy, I've chosen you out of every single person in the yellow pages, which wasn't a lie, I just couldn't afford to go to anyone else. And I want you to be my printer. And he said, that's fantastic. I said, I'm thinking the same thing. And he said, how much money do you have? I said, mate, I got $50. And he goes, well, you need $680 for the setup. I said, well, if I had $680, I just would have said to you then, mate, I've got $680. But as I just said to you, mate, I've got $50, means I've only got the $50, which means that we're not even going to have a conversation about $680 because I don't have $680. So we had this whole $680 conversation. I said, I don't have it. And he said, well, I'll do it, but don't tell anyone I've done it for $50. I said, mate, who's ever going to listen to me speak? So he printed them up. Now, attitude, see, just because you run into a roadblock in business and just because people say it can't be done or whatever, that just means it can't be done the way that they'd like it done. You know that saying, you can't fit a square peg in a round hole? You can if you force the sucker. And that's what we're going to have to do in business, because business is not going to be laid out. Our path to success is not going to be laid out exactly like we want it, all paved in gold. It's just not going to work that way. We've got to actually sometimes go off-road, using that as an analogy, and create our own pathway to get it done the way that we have to get it done. You know, it would be all fantastic if we all had millions of dollars sitting there for working capital. The reality is we all don't. Maybe you do, but most people don't. And even if you did, my advice still would be not to use that capital to grow your business. Every business that I've owned and every business that I still own, I've never spent any money on it setting it up at all. And I'll talk about that later on. So he printed up 4 shirts. Attitude started off as a slogan T-shirt company. Slogans such as, it's all about luck, just ask any loser. I don't have an attitude problem, you have a perception problem. My personal favourite, sarcasm is just another service I provide. Sold those to 3 of my mates. One of them was my brother. And Dean said, I just gave you $50. Why do I have to pay you $20 for a shirt? I said, because I'm a businessman, Dean. This is apparently how it works. We all went to church the following Sunday. We all walked in at the same time. We all had the same T-shirt on. We all sat on the front row. And this lady walked in and she was ticked. It's the best $50 I've ever spent in my entire life. Now, that's all I wanted to do. You know, I'm a little bit different to a lot of people when it comes to goals and all that sort of stuff. I think too many people are aiming too far away at a goal instead of looking at what they could actually try and hit now. See, the old saying, if you hit nothing, you're going to hit it every day. But I don't have goals that are 5 and 10 years. I've never had a 5-year goal. I've never had a 10-year goal. I've never had a 5-month goal. Only thing I've ever done is a 1-day goal. And that's to get as much out of today as I possibly can, and it has to be more than I did yesterday. So that's what excellence is. Excellence is just doing better than you did yesterday. That's as hard as it gets. In life, and especially as business owners, what we need to be doing is dumbing things down more for ourselves, because the market is quite volatile with whatever business you have. There's the thing that I call the third-party principle, where other people's way of operating is the thing that actually can screw us right up. So there's a lot of stuff out of our control. So I'd rather be in control of some stuff, and that stuff I want to be able to make sure that it makes a change. So that's why I do a daily thing. So for me to piss off the lady, that's fantastic. Now, I wasn't really expecting anything from that. As I said before, I was going to come up with another idea the following Sunday to upset her. But on that day, people come up and said 2 things I wasn't expecting. Number 1, love your shirt. I said, oh, thank you. Number 2, can I buy one? I hadn't thought that far ahead. Didn't think anyone would like it. The one person that you need to surprise on a daily basis and impress on a daily basis is not your competitors, it's not your customers, it's not your stockists, it's not whatever, it's yourself. You've got to sit there and go, crap, I didn't know that would work. And I know there's this whole control thing that, as business and all success, it's all about understanding where you're going and having clear, decisive path. Crock of crap. What you got to do is go, shit me. How did that work? Because that's how we grow. The only time you're actually going to grow, I got this thing which I wrote in one of my books. It's funny, I couldn't read or write when I left school and I've got books now. The teacher that kicked me out of school told me that I'd amount to nothing. So every time my new book comes out, I still send him a copy. It's fantastic. In business, a lot of people are trying to make it comfortable. They're trying to make sure that their business fits around their comfort zone. And which is fine, that's fantastic, you've got to be comfortable in life, but the only time you can actually grow your comfort zone and make it bigger is when you're out of it, not when you're in it. So you've got to go into which you guys are this weekend, into what I call the learning zone. You've got to get into learning more about stuff. The longer you're in the learning zone, the more you learn, the bigger your comfort zone gets. Make sense? The unfortunate thing in business, most people go from their comfort zone going, crap, I've got to grow this business. I want to grow this business. The business is starting to grow. I need to do some radical changes. I need to operate in a different way. And they go into what I call the wild zone. I'm not sure if anyone's ever been there. When you make a decision and then you go, oh, shit, that's not a good one. And you go backwards. The problem with spending too much time in the wild zone where you're just sort of flying by the seat of your pants, you will retreat back to your comfort zone at some point in time, but now your comfort zone's smaller, because you never want to make that mistake again. Has anyone in business ever made like a monumental cock-up in this room, or is it just me? Right, but does anyone then go, oh, and you second-guess yourself on the next time you're going to do something? That's because we've allowed that negative outcome to influence our potential positive future. So for me, I don't mind making mistakes. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. It's part of the learning process. And if we're all unreal, and if success was easy, to be totally honest, everyone would be successful. So the reality is it ain't easy. So we've got to figure all that stuff out. So people wanted to buy my shirt. So I sold to my mates and I sold to friends of people and friends of friends of people, and that's the way that I grew my business. I'm a very big believer in growing business from an organic perspective. So if you've got, and I have a lot of people that I do business mentoring stuff with, and many people say, look, I've got 100 grand I want to spend on advertising. Just look, don't do that. It's just a waste of money. Let's try and grow it outwards first to see if there's anyone likes the thing first, and then if they do, then look at all that sort of stuff. So selling to mates and mates of mates and friends of mates and mates, and that's the way that I started my first business. After a while, I ran out of people that liked me, so I thought, well, I can't really sell to those people. So I thought, well, what do I do? And I had a... No, she still hasn't bought one, but I did send her one. But I then... so I thought, I need to go and see a clothing store because I have a clothing brand. Brilliant idea. I am an ideas man. So that day, the following day, I went into the first store that I went and saw was in Sydney, and was where I live. And I walked into this surf store, and this is the conversation I had with the numb nut behind the counter. I said to them, "G'day, mate, I'm from Attitude." And he goes, "I've never heard of it." I said, "Well, you wouldn't have, because I haven't told you about it yet." And he goes, "Well, no one's asking for it." So, mate, they're not asking for it because they haven't probably heard of it. They haven't heard of it. And if they had heard of it, they would ask you for it, and you haven't heard of it. So if they're asking for it, you're going to say to them, "I haven't heard of it, so how about I tell you about it? Then at least you've heard of it." And you can tell them, "I've heard of it." And he goes, "Well, there's no demand for your brand." I said, "Mate, there's no demand because no one's asking for it. No one's asking for it. It's not in your store. It's not in your store because you won't let me tell you about it. How about I tell you about it? You're going to put it in your store, probably right at the back where no one can find it anyway. So you're going to put it in there, and someone's going to come in one day and say, 'Mate, do you have anything new that I've never heard about?' And you're going to go, 'Oh, yes, I do,' because you're a freaking Larry Legend salesperson. So you're going to take them up to the back of your room where no one can find it, and you're going to show them, and they're going to say, 'Oh, actually, I really like that. Do you think I could buy that?' And you're going to go, 'Cha-ching, yes, you can.' They're going to wear it out to their mate's barbecue a couple of days later, and the mates are going to say to them, 'I really like that shirt. Where did you buy that one from?' And they're going to say, 'From your surf store,' which is what we call demand, but we can't get into that whole thing because you're an idiot and you won't let me tell you about my brand in the first place." You know what he said to me? "When there's a demand, come back and see me." Has anyone in this room who owns a business now met a freaking idiot? Yeah, I know. It's illegal to hit these people, right? But what you do, this is my number one thing that people email me on a daily basis, because I now speak all over the world, and go, this is the number one thing people comment on. Next time you're in front of an idiot customer, in your head, give them a mental headbutt. It makes you feel so much better about the whole thing, right? You can break their nose and they have no idea. So anyway, I left that that shop all dejected. I am the king of the pity party. I know everyone else is probably more mature than me, but does anyone else have pity party? And I'm walking back to the car. Remember Muttley, the cartoon Muttley? So I'm walking back and success is supposed to be anything. Having this whole thing, I sit into my car in the car park at this surf store, and I had an epiphany. I don't know how to spell it, but I know I had one, right? Up until that point, and this would be very apt for a lot of people in this room, up until that point, I had a lot of people in my life telling me how to run my business. Anyone else got people like that around here? It wasn't until I actually sat there and I thought, all my mates are on the dole. Maybe they don't know what they're talking about. As business owners, the one thing we really have to be very protective of is our ears and what we allow into it. There's going to be a lot of people going to tell you how to suck eggs. You just got to do your own litmus test on those people. Do they own a business and is it more successful than yours? If the answer is no, wouldn't be listening. So a lot of time we take any advice thinking it's going to be good because, any advice is okay. But who says it is? It's obviously not good enough for those people to be successful. So I'm very selective on who I allow in. It's not a I'm better than them thing. I just want, as I've grown up with my dad being a minister, there's an old proverb that says iron sharpens iron. So if you want to be stronger, get stronger people around you. It's pretty simple stuff. So I'm sitting in my car, I had my epiphany, and I thought, hang on, I'm doing this whole thing wrong. Now, there's a lot of stuff I'm going to say today that you'll go, oh, that makes sense. I already knew that. So I'm not going to give you any stuff that you haven't known, but most people in business don't do the basic stuff anymore. They don't do the common sense stuff. They're trying to do all this funky shit, but they don't do the common sense stuff. So for me, I thought, this ain't working for me. I'm trying to run a business based upon everyone else. The one thing that I decided from that day, and I've never gone away from it, I was going to run my business from one perspective only. And that perspective was through my personality. The amount of people that go to business, go to work, have a business, who leave their personalities at home is amazing. You might have met these sorts of people. On the weekend, they're all laugh, they're life, they're everything. And then during the week, they're business people. And you go, what the hell happened to you overnight? So the one thing I can do on a daily basis is be me. I go to bed being me. I wake up being me. I may as well be me during the day as well. And people either like it or people don't like it. Well, that's going to be the case anyway. Or should I fake it to make people like something that's fake? And at some point in time, they're going to find out that it's not real in the first place. So I just thought, well, I'm just going to be me. Now, my personality is I'm a smart ass. If you tell me you really shouldn't go and do that, well, now I'm going to go and do that. I don't take anything seriously. I'm not a pre-planner on anything. I'm an impulsive person. If you just start running and putting your personality back into your business, that could be the thing that's missing because you operate being you outside of the business quite easily. Want to do it in work. So I thought I'm going to run my business that way. So I rang up 4 of my mates while I'm still sitting in this car park. I rang them up and I said, I need you guys to come around tonight. They said, why? I said, because I'm having a board meeting. Because I'm a businessman. They come over that night. I said, what's up? I said, well, one of you to ring this surf store once a week, and this is all you have to say. Week 1, ring, ring. Hello, do you have any attitude gear? No, we don't. Week 2, hello, do you have any attitude gear? No, not yet. Week 3, hello, do you have any attitude gear? Guy goes, no, but a few people have been asking for that brand. Really? Week 4, hello, do you have any attitude gear? And the guy goes, no, we're waiting for the rep to come back in because there's such a demand for his product. There's no demand, it's just me and my 4 mates ringing up the same bloke. If we start listening to what people are saying, especially when it comes to selling, if we start listening, they'll tell us the answer on how to sell it. He didn't say I didn't like it. He just told me no one was asking for it. Well, let's get people to ask for it then. Pretty simple stuff. Now, with my new brand, I need to cough. Excuse me. See, I'm so considerate. I didn't do that in the microphone, just for you people. I do feel like I'm at McDonald's with this stupid thing on. Would you like fries with that, sir? Upsizing. With my new brand, which is Intimidate, and because I've now made a bit of money, because I've made a bit of money, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but I thought I'd better spend more money on setting up a business. So I have. I spent $150 setting up my new brand, and which is a sunglass brand and now turning it into clothing brand. But what I do, using the same principle of getting my mates to ring up the shop, I now utilise Facebook, my Facebook people, to go into the stores to ask for my brand. It still doesn't cost me anything. I'm a very big believer in not spending any money to make money, because if it doesn't work, you haven't lost any money. But to give you an idea of the growth of Attitude, and for no other reason, just to let you know how it went. My 3 shirts I sold could make 6 shirts, so the 6 could make 12, 24, 48, 96, and that's the way that my business grew. That's what I was saying before, it should be organic. It's best to be organic. First year's turnover was $980,000 from the $50 startup. Second year was $2.5 million, $5.5 million, $12.5 million, $22.5 million. Then last year the business was $37.5 million, so went okay. The good thing about $37 million, besides the cars, love cars. I normally get ladies at the end of this saying, I don't get the car thing. I don't get the shoe thing. So it's same. But the good thing about it now, because it became an international brand, so now wherever this lady goes throughout the world, I'm pissing her off globally now. It's just fantastic. I still kept on that one. So I forgot where the hell I was up to before all of that. Let me just find myself. Facebook, cars, no, before all of that. There was a reason behind all of that. Oh, so I went in the following day. The guy rang up the guy, or my mates rang up the guy. Went into this store the following day after all these phone calls had finished. And I went in and I said, hi, I'm from Attitude. 2 brothers owned it. And the guy goes, oh, everyone is asking for your brand. It's just me and my 4 mates asking the same question. So what you've got to start doing now is, in life, people seem to think that the path to success, especially in business, is one of these ones that should be like a freeway and it should be just sort of easy. And if it's not easy, well, we must be doing something wrong. A bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. And the reality is success is just all over the place. And you're going to come to, at some point in time, to either a roadblock or a hurdle. I might be the only person I can't stand the Olympics when they're on television. It might just be me, but there's nothing else on any other channel when the Olympics are on. So you either got synchronised swimming, why that's a sport I'm not too sure, or Here's Humphrey. That's your choices on television these days. But the only sport that I do enjoy in the Olympics or at the Olympics is the hurdles race. Not because it's a race, but now with this super slow-mo camera, when they're falling over and hitting that thing, man, that's funny when you can see the panic on their whole thing. But I'm yet to see anyone in a hurdles race that trip over, jump up and go, hang on, that's not fair. Can we all come back and start again so we all can clear the hurdles? Has anyone ever seen that happen? But in business, unfortunately, a lot of people do that. Oh, it's not fair. How come my competitor's doing better than I am? That's not fair. Who says it's supposed to be easy anyway? When you hit a hurdle, when you get to a hurdle, you either go over it, under it or through it. Doesn't really matter. It may slow you down, but as long as you keep the same course, you're okay. It doesn't matter who finishes with the most amount of money in business. I've met a lot of rich dickheads. Money doesn't, as I said right at the start, doesn't maketh the man, right? What you've got to start doing is just understanding what you want out of your business and rewarding yourself along the way, not at the end, and you'll be quite happy. So then you don't care how long it takes because you're having fun doing it. So went in there, he put an order in, $1,582 it was, the order. It was time for financial retirement then for me in my life. I thought I'd better sell up now because I'm now in front. Sold out in 2.5 weeks in this store, which was fantastic. But then I kept on trying to get into more stores, still had the same problem. Like, I'm not sure about anyone else, but you come up with a theory or a way to sell and it works, and then you try that on the next person and it doesn't work, and you go, how does this work? So I thought, well, I think I got to the conclusion the retailer's an idiot. So I don't want to really deal with them at this point in time. So I'm going to go and see if the consumer likes my product, because if the consumer like it, then I'm onto something. If they said that they don't like it, then I'm not onto something. That's my market research. So went to a place in Sydney called Parklea Markets. Has anyone ever heard of Parklea Markets? It's funny. I love how we do this in Australia. It's the largest markets in the Southern Hemisphere. There's nothing else in the Southern Hemisphere. Not that hard, really, is it? Anyway, went to Parklea Markets. They get about, 10,000 people through on a week, every day on a weekend. And it cost back then $87 for a stand over 2 days. So, and they provide you with a trestle table. That's it. No girly cloth, just a trestle table. So I rang up Marty, said, do you want to come? He said, nah. And I said, I'll pay you $100 a day. And he goes, I'd love to come and support your dream, Justin. So that's all Marty's a money man. So we went there. I just wanted someone to hang out with. I don't like doing business or success by myself. I just wanted to have other people around. So we had our trestle table. I'd never sold much in my life. Chucked all the shirts on. There was no sizes. We just chucked them all on there. 9 o'clock, people start coming through. 9:15, sold out. There were lines and lines and lines of people lining up to buy my shirt. And halfway through the process, Marty turned to me and goes, I think they think we're someone else. I said, mate, I don't care who the hell they think we are, sell it. It shocked me no end. As I said before, the person you need to impress on a daily basis is you, and shock on a daily basis is you. I had no clue people would have liked it. That was my market research. You can go and ask your friends what they think of what you're doing. They're going to give you a friend response. I'd rather go and test the market to see if people will buy it. You know, has anyone started something and your friends are, oh yeah, that'd be great, and then you do it and you want them to buy it? They don't buy it. Like, it's still going to be great. So that's not good market research. So it's sold out. Then after a while, I'm thinking, I think I might have a business here. And back in those days, they didn't have business coaches and mentors and stuff like that. They didn't have any of that. So I thought, well, what do I do? So I thought the best thing I can do is go and ask another guy who'd been in the markets for ages to see what his response would be and if he could give me some advice. So I went across one morning before it all opened up, an old bloke in the T-shirt shop, and I said, mate, I just started. I'm just wondering if you can give me some advice. He goes, you're destined to fail. That's for you. And I said, why am I destined to fail? He goes, it's a fad. I said, mate, I don't even know what a fad is, but wouldn't that still work? Like, I don't understand this thing. He goes, no, it's too quiet in here anyway. I said, oh, okay. I said, well, we're doing all right. Anyway, as we're talking, people started to walk in. There's a huge group of people walking through. I said, well, here comes some people. Let's see how we go, eh? Just being Mr. Positive. And he goes, I wouldn't serve them. I said, well, I can see why you're quiet, but why wouldn't you serve them? He goes, they've got no shoes on. Now, if you've been to Parklea Markets, you'd understand you don't get dressed up to go to Parklea Markets. And I said, mate, I'll serve them. He goes, why would you serve them? I said, because I've got no shoes on. And I started to watch how people, and this is the way that I go through business and go through life really, I actually watch how other people screw it up and then learn from their screw-ups. It's the best way to, I'd rather them make a mistake than me have to make it. And I started to watch in business straight away the simple things that people didn't do. For instance, customer service. It's just gone arse up in this country at this point in time. But I started to watch how people would judge their potential customers by the way that they looked or dressed or whatever. And that just nicks me in the head. It's a very personal thing for me because apparently I'm a terrorist. Don't come through an airport with me. Right? I didn't ask to look this good looking. It's just a natural thing. But I get stopped all the time, random searches. Right? Did you know, and this is 100% serious what I'm about to tell you, did you know that it is illegal to use humour now in an airport? Did anyone not know that? Isn't that freaking funny? Right, I found this out the hard way. I smoke, and I know it's bad, whatever, but I give up between cigarettes, so it's okay. I smoke, so I'm never late. I'm always early for everything. I've got that from my father. I'm always prompt, he calls it. So, but at an airport, I'm always there early. But because I'm there early, I have to have a smoke. So I'll go in and go through the random thing. Then go back outside, come back in, random thing. And like this one day, this same guy kept stopping me. I said, mate, what do you think I've done outside? And I said, I now deliberately smoke outside your window so you can see I'm not doing anything outside. So why do you keep stopping? He goes, it's random. I said, it's not random. I'm watching you look over the crowd waiting for the bald-headed bloke coming up. And he goes, no, it's random. I said, no, it's not. I said, just let me ask you a question. Have you seen the people that have done bad stuff through an airport? He goes, what's your point? I said, did they look like me? Bald head, goatee, standing up like dog's nuts? No. I said, they're normal people that walk past that you let go because you're waiting for this bald-headed prick to come up there. I got taken to a room, right? And for 45 minutes, I was given a lecture on the dangers of using humour in an airport. I've got to tell you, you stay there and sit there for 45 minutes without even smiling because you're not alone. But so, like, I just started to watch how, like, this whole thing. There's two reasons why I started my business. One was to upset the lady. The other one was to have a nice car. I love cars. I've just been a car nut. And I think a lot of people in business forget to reward themselves and also forget the reasons as to why they started the business in the first place. And if you're going to have goals, which you should, when you do have goals, make sure they're tangible. You can touch them. Not this, I want to be successful. I want to feed the world. It's none of that. Right, you got to go and add tangible shit so you can touch, feel it. And when you, like for me, I get in my car. Whenever I get in my car, I sit there and go, Evan's going to get milk. I sit there and go, man, this is worth all of that effort because I'm now existing in the thing that I've been working for. So, as I said before, you aim at nothing, you hit it every day. So for me, it's been my love of cars, and I've had a fair few. My mates and I, we've all grown up together since we're about 14. And we're still good friends, or we all hang out together. It's just one of those great relationships that have just gone on forever and a day. And we all now own our own businesses. It's not a competitive thing. It's just one of those things that we ended up doing. And they're all different, like builders and my brother's a landscaper, all this sort of stuff. And we had I'm not sure if anyone else can remember having this, but we had a conversation, probably when we were about 16, 17, over a cup of tea, about what would happen if, when we got older, we made money. Does anyone ever remember having a conversation when, what happens if I become rich? I can still remember it, because we decided way back then that we were going to stay stupid. We don't want to grow up. See, the girls in our lives can do latte. We just do dickhead. It's just fantastic. It's about having fun. I think we lose the essence of ourselves at some point in time, but because we are now successful. So success for me just gives me more opportunity to be me. It's just fantastic. So I love cars. Joel, I've lost my little monitor that tells me how long to shut up. Oh, you know that? Cool. So I've got 4 hours to go, yeah? Cool. So I'm prompt. I'm always on time, so I want to make sure I don't get anyone upset here. So we go, I buy my cars, but because we love having fun doing anything and everything, we've made now are you taking the piss? Oh, I thought you were doing the, I love hecklers. Sorry. There we go. So we, because I do use my hands a lot. So we do, Okay, that's all right. What the hell was I just talking about? Oh, so what we do is we make fun of everything. We make it fun doing everything. So because I love cars and because my mates love coming with me now buying a car, because they see how I get treated, right? Which car dealers just have got it all ass up these days. But I make it difficult for them. I have one outfit that I wear when I buy a car. It's no shoes, board shorts and a singlet. Right? Because my theory is, and it's legit, why do I need to dress up to impress the guy that can't afford the car I'm about to buy? It doesn't make any sense. He should be dressing up to impress me. So if you go with people and there's 10 of you going to buy a car, they don't really take you that seriously. So we've come up with this new game where everyone comes over the night before, I put names in the hat, and then I'll draw one name out and that person can come with me to buy the car. So you make fun. So the night it was time for me to buy my dream car. So the night before, everyone come over, barbecue and beers and hat. Put the name in, Marty's name came out. He goes, oh, this will be fun. I said, well, for you it is, but for me, not much fun. So the following day, I went into this BMW dealer. I walked into this BMW dealership. The car I wanted to buy was in the middle, right in the middle of the showroom. All the little plaquey things there, and all the lights were on it. And I'm pretty sure as I walked up to it, I heard, wah, because I was in heaven, right? So I walk up and went to get in, and it was locked. I'm thinking, who the hell locks a car inside a showroom? But because I'm a boy, you just keep on trying. Nothing. So I said to Marty, try your side. Nothing. And then people were walking past doing the whole BMW nod when the salesman, they walk past. I kept walking. And Marty goes, what are they doing? I said, I don't know, do it back. Nothing. And after a while, this guy comes up and he goes, oh, you guys right? I said, no, mate, I just want to get in the car because I just want to, feel, see. He goes, oh, it's locked. I said, no shit, Sherlock, I know it's locked. Oh, can you unlock it so I can just put my little rumpty dar on the seat just so I know what it looks like outside? I want to look inside. He goes, no. We only open the car for special customers. And I said to Marty, let's go. And we walk outside and Marty goes, go and tell him who you are. I said, no, we're having some fun today. So I went over to a different BMW dealership. Walked in and said to the lady behind the counter, can I speak to your newest, youngest salesperson, please? She said, why? I said, oh, here's a thought. I want to buy a car. She goes, what car? I said, I want an M6. She said, no. I said, what do you mean, no? Can't I buy a car? I'm fairly argumentative, but I should have been a lawyer. And I said, why can't I? She goes, we don't allow you to choose the salesperson in our place. I said, oh, okay. I said, let's just pretend for a minute. Yep, I'm the customer, and that's what I want to do today. She goes, no. Now, Marty started to text. It started. So anyway, after a while, this guy comes over, which I later found out to be the sales manager. And he came over, and I don't even know what this word means. He comes over and he goes, what's the kerfuffle? I said, mate, I have not had a kerfuffle. Then she says to him, he wants to talk to the new guy. And the guy goes, well, no. I said, well, why not? And he goes, because we're not going to let you do that, mate. Like, he's just straight at me. So now Marty's on the phone. He's ringing everyone going, it started. We've got a little bylaw in our hat thing. If you get invited by the hat draweree because it's getting good, you can come, but you're not allowed inside. You've got to stand outside and look through the window. Just the one thing I want everyone to understand, and everything I'm telling you is 100% true, number one, but number two, have fun on the journey towards where you want to get to. It's not going to happen when you get there because it's just going to be shithouse if it's been shithouse the whole time. So you've got to have fun doing it, right? And whether it works or whether it doesn't matter. So anyway, the guy in the end goes, just do whatever you want. I always do, mate. So we walk over, sit down. The guy's name was Michael. We sit at his desk. And I said, hi. And he goes, I'm not allowed to sell. I said, mate, I'm your first customer. I want to be your first customer. He goes, it's my first day. I've just got here. I said, all right. I said, I want you to sell me your first car. And he goes, okay. I said, what are you doing? He goes, I don't know what to say. I said, well, why do you ask me a question? He goes, that's good. And he writes on his piece of paper, ask a question. I said, what sort of car would you like? And he goes, what car do you want? I said, mate, I want an M6. Now, he got excited, which is what I wanted as a customer. I think if we don't show our customers that we actually do truly appreciate their custom, then we're going to lose them to someone else. Right? So if you don't look after your customer, someone else will. So, but he got uber excited, like wet yourself type excited. And I said to him, listen, mate, I've bought a lot of cars and I do appreciate you getting excited, but no one's really carried on like this. So do you get like a bigger commission or something over here? He goes, look, I don't even know what I'm getting paid yet. He said, but what I do know is if I'm selling you the car, it's my job to take you on a test drive and I've been dying to drive this car. I said, mate, me too. So we get into this car, the sequential manual gearbox, but a V10 engine, like just absolute gun of a car. And it's not like the normal paddle shift ones that you get in like the Barry Budgety cars. It's just quite difficult to learn it to start off with. But he got in and said, get out, let me have a shot. And we had some serious fun in this car, right? We get back and he goes, what do you think? I said, man, I want the car. That's what I'm here for. And he goes, well, do you want this car? I said, not after what we just did to that car, mate. Like, but I wanted my own colour on the outside, my own colour leather on the inside, just on that. And it's not, the only reason I'm telling you is for no other reason, but the amount of people that I come across in business that have goals that are tangible, personal goals, but then they actually change them halfway because it's getting hard to get that. And they wonder why they disappoint themselves all the time. Keep on changing the goalposts. You know, the one thing on that too, I've never had, and this might sound bizarre, but I've never had a business goal, ever. I only ever have personal goals. My business is the thing that I do to get the stuff that I want. It's as simple as that. So that just means I need to do the stuff that I do really well to get the nicer stuff that I want. Does that make sense? So anyway, I wanted my own colour, leather, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, it takes about 6 months. I said, I don't care how long it takes. That's what I want. So 6 months later, he rings up and he goes, your car's here, went and got it, and still the old bag at the front of the counter. Didn't like me. Got the car. Marty was still with me, part of the process. We drive out of the driveway and he goes, let's go for a drive. I said, absolutely. He goes, where do you want to go? I said, back to the first BMW dealership. So we drive there, and as we're driving there, I said, mate, you've got one job only. I want you to find me the oldest, bombiest car in the customer car park that's the same type of colour as mine, because I want to park next to that. So we get there. It could not have been better. There was an old HQ Holden. Park next to it. Thanks, mate. Park next to it. Go inside. Now, if you buy a BMW, they'll put you through university on how to do the nod. I got distinctions. Nice to see you. Good to see you too. Went into the middle of the thing, and showroom. Another car was there, different car this time, locked. So I was standing next to it, people walking past. Same guy comes up, sales guy. He goes, you guys right? He goes, oh, it's you. I said, yes. He goes, how's your savings going? And I said, yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I said, look, I know how much the car is that I want to buy because last time I could read and it was just there. But I didn't get to ask you to come out and give me a price on my trade-in. So I'm just wondering if you can come outside now and just give me a price on my trade-in, because then I know what the difference is between the cars and I can go and save a little bit harder. And he goes, oh, that's a good idea. I said, I have a few. So we walked outside and it was parked a fair way down. He goes, which one? I said, it's the blue one down there. He goes, oh, $1,500, I reckon. I said to Marty, isn't it amazing how your car depreciates like that when you drive it out of the car? And he said, well, what sort of money? He goes, well, we can do it a little bit better. We can see what we can do. What sort of money were you after? I said, I don't know, $328,622.42, including GST and taxes. I'm not too sure. That's sort of where I was sort of out with the whole thing. He goes, no, that's how much the what? He goes, that's your car, isn't it? I said, absolutely. He goes, oh, why did you come back? I said, just to show you how much you suck at your job, mate. We got in the car and we drove off. You know, the amount of people out there these days, my best asset in business, to be honest, and more so as a speaker, not here at this, because my speaking's corporate mainly, but my best asset as a speaker is my competition, the other speakers. My best asset as a business owner is my competition, the other business owners, because they suck at what they do. And if I'm better than what they suck at, then I'm going to be looking better to the consumers. Does this make sense? Right, but the amount of people that go through business and all they're doing is focusing on their competitors and trying to make sure we're just the same and all that, you're giving the customer choice. So I'd rather not give anyone choice. I'd just rather just do better than what I did before. And this is, I could be an unreal, I'm just gone through, I'm an open book, so I'm just going through this whole separation shit that goes on with marriage. I don't know, I've got to fund everyone else's lifestyle at the moment, but I've been selling, I had to sell the house, right? I had to sell everything. A kidney, that's going too. But had to sell the house. I haven't dealt with real estate agents for a long time. Oh my Lord. They are a bunch of numbnuts, these people. And I'm just thinking about renting for a while so I don't have to think. I made 15 phone calls on Friday to look at places. I'm still waiting for someone to ring me back. And you sit there and you go, like that. You sit there and you go, well, this doesn't really make any sense, because that's a no-brainer. And in business, it's amazing how many times we don't do and don't solve a problem that could be solved like that because we're so busy planning the future and we're missing all the opportunities. So if you've got opportunities now, if you've got customers coming into your store, if you've got people ringing up going, wanting to know more about your business, and a lot of people go, oh yeah, look, I'll get back to them because that's not going to make me any money now. No, it may in the future. And that's the way that I did business. So, and then the other thing I started to, because of my lack of getting customer service, I thought, well, in the markets, that's going to be my point of difference. I'm going to make sure that I service the living crap out of people when they come in, because they're not expecting that in the markets. It's just a market stall. So I thought, I'm going to do that. So I would spend as much time as humanly possible with anyone. I didn't care if they bought something or they didn't buy something. It didn't bother me. And then I started to listen to what my customers were saying, which is a new thing that we should start doing really in business. And I started to hear what they were saying, because you can solve a problem when you know what the problem is. I didn't know what the problem was. So then people would come and go, look, I love your brand, Justin. I see it here every weekend. I go, oh, yeah, thank you. They said, but we can't find it anywhere. And I go, look, I know, you can't get it in sports stores because I'm not a sports brand. You can't get it in surf stores because apparently I'm not a surf brand. You can't get it in Australian-only stores because I'm not an American brand. You can't win anywhere these days, right? I said, but would you mind doing me a favour? Could you go take some of my business cards And can you, next time you're in a store that you think that my brand would actually fit and suit, could you just give the business card to the owner and say, listen, I do a bit of work for this brand, which you've never heard of, called Attitude, and it'd be fantastic in your store. I've got no stock on me at the moment because all the other reps have got the range out in the marketplace. But if you ring our head office, they'll send someone out to show you the range. Now, I was the guy they were ringing. I was the guy going to go and see him. I was going to come back and pack the box, and I was going to ring him up in an American accent from the accounts department. I was a one-man band. But I started to see that I could use my customers as my salespeople as opposed to using my customers to make me a sale. Make sense? So that way, instead of having one person doing all the selling, I had 100. Now, I didn't care if these people bought something in my stall or not. Didn't bother me. I saw that as an opportunity to use these people more than once. And instead of me paying them to be my salespeople, they paid me. And if you're a nice enough person, more so, and you have a good enough product or business, people will go out there and endorse it, more than not. And it's more about you being a nice enough person is the main thing. Has anyone ever shopped somewhere and you like the product or whatever, but the person just turns you right off? That's where personality is such a main thing. It's got nothing to do with product. You could have the worst product with the best person selling it and you're going to buy the thing. My business took off big time. I've lost this screen again too. It's easy for you to say. I'm going to get in trouble going over the top. So my business took off. So then one day I'm sitting in my garage. I used to run my whole business from my garage. At the start, it was fantastic. It took me 6.5 seconds to get to work. So I was sitting there and my phone rings and the lady on the phone said, hello, it's the Alan Jones radio show. Now, I'd never heard of Alan Jones because back in those days, does everyone know who Alan Jones is, the talkback guy? And so back in those days, you didn't listen to talkback if you're 25. And the only Alan Jones that I knew was the Formula One motor car racing driver. And I got quite excited. I'm thinking I'm going for a drive. And she goes, no, not him, the other Alan Jones. I said, who's Alan Jones? She goes, you don't know? I said, well, do you know who Justin Herald is? She said, no, not really. I said, cool, we're even then, aren't we? She told me who he was, and I said, oh, do people listen to Talkback Radio? She goes, oh, yeah, it's very popular. I said, oh, okay, cool. And she goes, he wants you to come in tomorrow to do an interview. Why? Someone who was in the markets that I gave good service to and found out about the product. Because if you're a likeable person, people want to know more about you, right? That gives you an opportunity to then... So I'm more into getting people to be emotionally attached to my product instead of just liking my product. So if they're emotionally attached, then it's part of their emotions take over big time, which makes it easier to sell to them, really. So, but because I must have spoken to someone who then spoken to someone who's spoken to someone who then knew Alan Jones, we just don't know how connected people are these days, especially now with Facebook. You watch if you ever piss a customer off, e.g. me, Qantas, and what I can do with that on Facebook. Fair income. But... So anyway, that's how it got to where it got to. That's how we found out. And she goes, oh, he wants you to come in tomorrow and do an interview at 7:10. I said, I can't. I'm flying to Brisbane this afternoon, but thanks. And she goes, well, no one ever says no to Alan. I said, oh, okay. I said, can you just let him know? No. Now, if he rung today, I dropped my bundle. I had no idea who the bloke was. About 10 minutes later, she rings up. She goes, oh, he's agreed to do it over the phone. I said, good on you, Alan. Fantastic. Following morning, I'm in Brisbane. The phone call came in, 7:10. The interviewer went something like this, blah, 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 $50, blah, 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 $50, you're a legend, $50. I got off the phone and my sister-in-law said, how was that? And I said, I don't know, I kept on talking about $50. Now, the $50 thing to me was no big deal. When you're 25 and you got $1.25 in the bank, you don't really tell people that because it doesn't assist you in picking up chicks. Right? So you just keep that on. I didn't think it was a big deal, but the media thought that it was a big deal. Then I got off the phone. 10 minutes later, phone rings. Lady on the phone goes, hello, it's a current affair. When a current affair ring you shit yourself. Wasn't me, I didn't touch her. Because I always do stories on Dodgy Brothers, right? And I said, look, I'm not dodgy. They said, no, we just heard you on Alan Jones. And I stupidly said, oh, do people listen to him? Yeah. So they said, we want to do it. I said, why? They oh, yeah, $50. And I'm starting to think, why is this a big deal? Now, there's a lot of other people, and you might know people that started a business with $50. Like, you might be in the room going, I started a business with $50. You know the difference between you and me? You haven't told anyone. That's it. So the night that it went on air on a current affair, In the first 30 minutes of it airing, 187 stores rang me to put my brand into their store. And that was the day I decided I was never going to spend a single cent on advertising, and I never have in any of my businesses. I use, some people say manipulate, tomato, the media to grow my business. And that's the one thing that I love helping people do, is getting media attention. It is not as hard as you think it is. But I tell you what it's not about. It's not about what you sell. It's about who you are. Now, I've found this out by default. I've never spoken about what we sell in any interview. They have. When you have someone like Mike Munro saying, "Oh, what a top bloke! I'd get in behind those products if I was you," that's pretty damn good endorsement. And the one thing with media is media feed off media. Current Affair went to. Alan Jones went to Current Affair, went to Today Tonight, went to Daily Telegraph, went to then it was The Age, and then the Herald Sun, and then 3AW, 2GB, and it just gone on and on. For 15 years, every year, at least 10 to 15 media interviews, still to this day, every single year. I don't ring a single person. They keep ringing me. Still doing this $50 thing. I'm doing a little bit better than that now, but it's still about the $50 thing. And that's where, like, if you want to get yourself into a wider audience, why go spend, I'm not a fan of advertising, because why go spend 20 grand on an ad in a newspaper? Will anyone get emotionally attached to that ad, do you think? If you're on Current Affair for 2.5 minutes, you mean, that's not long, in front of 3 million people, and talking about either single mum stuff or, got retrenched, so I'm going to start a business, or have started a business, or family business, whatever it is, if you've got all those people watching you then about the back end of your story, do you then think now there's an emotional attachment with it? And if you're a nice enough bloke, do you think they're now not going to get behind you as well? So that's how it all just took off. It was fantastic. So I'm sitting in my garage one day after all this media started, and my phone rings. Now, as I said to you before, we've decided to be stupid, my mates and I. We play practical jokes on each other all the time. I think maturity is overrated, personally, and I don't think enough people on this planet are being stupid. So I'm going to lead that. I'm actually going to run for Prime Minister, I think. One policy: if you're in the right-hand lane on a freeway and you're not overtaking, you're going to jail. Yeah, and there'll be no carbon tax. So we play dumb jokes. One of my favourite shows on TV is The Simpsons. I love The Simpsons. I know it's a stupid show, but that's why I love The Simpsons. But when he rings up the pub to pretend he's someone else, we've been doing that for years. So my largest speaking job so far has been 37,000 people in America. I was the only person asked from Australia to speak at this big conference, and I was on my way to the airport this day. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, all was happy and gay. I was just in a happy mood. Driving down the freeway, and the phone rings in my car. I said, "Hello." Guy with an American accent. He goes, "Is that Justin Herald?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "It's such and such people I'm speaking for." I said, "I'm on my way to the airport. I'm so looking forward to this." He goes, "Listen, we've done a survey overnight and no one really wants to hear anything you have to say, so we're actually going to put someone else in your spot, and maybe next year's probably going to be better, so don't even worry about going to the airport." And he hung up the phone. Now, I won't say what I said then. I was no longer happy and gay. And I'm thinking, don't you know who I am? You don't do that. So I'm doing the angry dial. Has anyone ever done the angry? About to hit the last number of this number, the company over here that booked me to speak over there. I get to and my phone rings. I said, "Hello." And it's all my mates sitting around a speakerphone going, "Sucked in." So we spend a bit of money sometimes on our stupidity. They hired an Avis rental car just for this. So one of my mates was actually on the freeway next to me. He's on the phone the whole way while I'm on the phone and doing the dial thing. So he's now telling them what I'm doing. So they know when to ring and when not to ring. So I was about to hit the last number or a number. He then gets them to ring me and whatever. So they're all having this big chuckle, ha, right? So they're all trying to get me back because I am the king. I still am the king on stupidity. My brother is a landscaper, as I said to you before, but Dean's a very famous landscaper. Dean's won the Chelsea Garden Show, the Melbourne Garden Show, the Sydney Garden Show. He's coming down here. You've got to see, if you go, I'm not into garden shows, but there's the Melbourne one coming up soon. Go and check out my brother's thing. It will blow you away. It's just fantastic. Now, my brothers, if you want to just do the dream thing about what you'd like your gardens to look like, landscape, check out rollingstonelandscapes.com. It is just freaking unreal. Your average job for your backyard is $2.5 million, right? A lot of grass. So, like he's designing at the moment, the Sultan of Brunei's garden. We call that a country over here, but garden. So Dean's very good at what he does, but he's very serious. Everyone thinks he's my older brother because he's always serious all the time. So I was at a party one night and I'm sitting there talking to one of my, some chick, I don't know who the hell she was actually, and I wasn't even, you know when you're looking at someone and you're not really listening because you're listening to the conversation behind, and the conversation behind was my father and my brother talking, and Dean's going to my dad, oh, I am making so much money. Nothing ever goes wrong. Then he came out with a classic. He goes, I'm in the zone. I thought, okay, peck ahead, I'm going to get you out of your zone tomorrow, that's for sure. So the following day, I ring up a local landscape supplier. Now, the job that he was doing at the time was, I'm not sure if anyone remembers, but they had the Biggest Loser show, the Australian one over here, and the first one they did was at this huge house that looked like the White House, and that's the house that he was doing, right? It's huge. And it's 5 acres of actual landscaping and paving, and just bizarre. Like at the moment, this is off the point, but at the moment, a client has asked Dean to build a glass house that houses 20 cars in it. This is bizarre stuff that he does. 20 cars. I mean, I can only do one car at a time. But anyway, so I can't go. I'm going to throw stones at that stupid thing because what a dumb thing to do. Hi all. But anyway, so I ring up a local landscape supplier and I said to them, what's your smallest truck? They said, 2 tonne. I said, wonderful. I said, how many do you have? They said, 15. I said, cool. I said, can I get 30 tonne of sand delivered in 15 2-tonne trucks and dropped in 15 poles across the front lawn, please? They said, we could do that in one truck. I said, well, I don't want one truck. There's going to be one pile. I want 15 piles. So I paid for it all. And I said, before you go, when you put your trucks in the reverse, do they go beep, beep, beep? And they said, they have to. It's the law. I said, wonderful. Can they reverse up that driveway, please? All at the same time. Then I faxed him off something I wanted them to say. Following day, Dean's around the back of this house. That house was huge. It blocked the sun out for 4 suburbs, right? But it was huge. All of a sudden, they hear this, and they run around the front going, what the hell's going on? And here's 15 poles of sand and 1 truck driver left. And Dean goes up and goes, mate, I think you've got the wrong house. And he pulls out his piece of paper and he goes, nope. And Dean said, well, I didn't order any sand. That's correct. Dean said, well, who ordered the sand? Looks like it's your brother Justin. And Dean said, well, what do you order sand? He goes, well, as you got nothing to do and nothing ever goes wrong now in your zone, why don't you move your sand? That'll get out of it. And he gets in his truck and he drives away. I won't tell you what Dean called me right then. The one thing I know for a fact, it takes a long time to remove 30 tonne of sand if you don't have a ute. Right, very long time. So we just played dumb jokes. There's a point to this. We played dumb jokes on each other. They've already tried to ring up this morning and tell me that today was cancelled. They thought I was flying down here. It was just like, you numb nuts are only here. So we just played dumb stuff. But all this media stuff had happened and everything was going off big time. And my phone rings one day. And I said, hello. And the lady on the phone says, hello, it's Philips. We would love to license your brand. And I said, well, you can get stuffed. And I hung up the phone. She rings back, she goes, we must have got cut off. I said, no, I hung up on you, and here it comes again. I hung up again. See, I thought it was one of my friend's wives doing this whole let's get Justin on the phone thing. It wasn't. She rings back for the 3rd time, she goes, don't hang up the phone. So I'm thinking, oh crap, it's a real person. She goes, why did you hang up the phone? And I told her about the practical joke. And she goes, oh, that's so funny. I said, she goes, come in tomorrow, we want to license your brand. Now, I used to be married to a woman, and my wife, ex-wife, had I think most women have this same disease that she had, but she had this disease, and that disease was she just had to know who I was on the phone to all the time. Freaking annoying. Does anyone else have those sort of things going on? Right, and then you start to tell them, and they go, I don't care. Why ask then, right? So I get off the phone, and she said, who was that? I said, that was Philips. She says, what do they want? I said, they want to license my brand. She said, what's licensing? I said, I've got no clue. I'll find that out tomorrow, won't I? You know the reason that most people don't ever succeed in life is because they never start. And the other reason is they actually expect it to happen the way that they would like it to happen. And I want to talk about opportunity for a minute. There's all these funky ass words out in the marketplace. There's focus, opportunity, commitment. Like opportunity is another one of those funky things. You know, people come up to me and go, "Oh, what's your next opportunity, Justin?" Oh, I love it when they sit in front of me. "Oh, I'm waiting for the next opportunity." An opportunity is something you've never had before. So how the hell do you know what it is when it comes past you if you've never had it before? There's all these people waiting for their business to happen to them instead of them happening to their business. So I'll go to the opening of a fridge just in case something might happen. So the following day I went into Phillips. I had a girly moment at the start of the day because I didn't know what to wear. Because I'd never been to a meeting before. So you think, what the hell do you wear? And there's this whole conversation going on between me and Vanessa. And she goes, well, what did they say on the phone? I said, well, they said, we saw you on a current affair. Okay, I'll wear what I had on a current affair. So I went in with thongs on, holes in my jeans before was trendy, and an Attitude T-shirt. Went into Phillips. Walked into Phillips head office. Walked into the reception area. And as soon as I walked in there, I was in boy heaven. Gadgets everywhere. TVs, stereos, mobile phones. I love buttons. Buttons. There's options in cars that, would you like a button with that? Button. I love buttons. So I walked up to the receptionist. I said to her, hello, She goes, oh, you're the bald man they told me to look out for. Felt like saying, well, you're really fat. But I didn't. I kept that one internal. She goes, they're expecting you to follow me. I said, okay. Excuse me. So we start walking up this corridor. This guy comes out of his office. He goes, oh, you're here. Yes, I am. Cool. We'll go back in his office. Thinking, well, that was a bit bizarre, really, wasn't it? Kept on walking a bit further. This guy comes screaming out of his office. He goes, I have been dying to meet you. I said, mate, me too. How you going? Went back in his office. I said to this lady, how do they know who I am? She goes, I don't know. I'm just the receptionist. She was a sour sack of a lady. She'd been sucking lemons most of her life, I reckon, this one. Oh, just people who have staff and you've got a front desk, just a thought, make sure that they smile at least once a day. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? It's amazing, just off the point, how many businesses, more so big businesses, put the total wrong person as the face or the first thing that you come across. It's just ridiculous. The same as frickin' Telstra with their customer service department. They don't service the customer. It's one of those wacko things. But anyway, that's also on Facebook. So I walk in to get to these two double doors. She flings open these double doors and I walk into the world's biggest boardroom with the world's longest boardroom table down the middle and 34 men in suits. Have you ever been somewhere and you can physically, for yourself, leave your comfort zone? I am not... The one thing I'm very comfortable, and I'm very probably opposite to a lot of people, this is my comfort zone. Doing what I do. I love speaking. I love that. One-on-one, like, I struggle with that a little bit. Not the in-depth conversation, more the idle chit-chat conversation. You know those irrelevant conversations? Like you get into a cab or you get into a lift. What do you say? So my head gets in the way because I'll go to say something, especially in a lift, and my head would go, ooh, no, not that one. All that. So the first guy comes up to me, he goes, shakes my hand, he goes, oh, it's a beautiful day today. Okay. Next guy comes up, I'll never forget this, he comes up and he goes, my wife bought me this tie just for our meeting. Yeah. See if I give a shit. I'm wearing new undies too, mate. But then a guy comes up and does that handshake. You know the one that if your hand's on top of my hand, apparently means you're more dominant than me. So we're shaking hands like, mate, take my leg, mate. I really don't care. So they shook everyone's hand and did all that sort of stuff. And we get to the end of everyone shaking hands. And they said, would you like to sit down? I said, yeah, that'd be nice. So they sit me down on this side of the table and they all sat on the other side of the table. And they're straight into the meeting. No, the reason we've asked you to come. Straight in. It was an hour-long meeting set for. 5 minutes into the meeting, I'm thinking, I reckon you've got the wrong Justin. I have no clue what you're talking about. So you got to look like you. 45 minutes into the meeting, they said, so what do you think? I said, look, I don't know. What's it going to cost me? They said, no. We pay you to put your name on our stereos and televisions. I said, why would you do that? They said, oh, that's licensing. I said, look, I don't understand what licensing is. Then their lawyer said, so you don't understand licensing? I said, I'll say it again for you, mate. I don't understand licensing. Ask a stupid question, get a stupid answer. So I'll explain licensing. The one thing, a lot of people in business, this is normal stuff, right? And there's no reason why you shouldn't think like this. But the problem that we do have in business is we think we know where we need to go. We think we know what we need to do. But a lot of the time, because it takes up so much of our time and so much of our thinking process, and we're committed to what we want to do, we actually don't realise there could be other stuff out there that could actually get us ahead further. For me, that was licensing. Now, I'll give you the Justin Herald interpretation of licensing. If you're a lawyer, block your ears for a minute. When I started Attitude, a very wise person said to me, don't forget to trademark your brand. How many people in this room do not have a trademark? How many people do not know what a trademark is? Your business name? Everyone have a business name? That's what you should trademark. So just because you've got a business name with a business name registry doesn't actually give you any protection. Just stops another business trading that in this state. Right? That's it. If you have a trademark, so your intellectual property, your business name, is the most valuable part of your business. Right? That's the thing that you can sell. Right? If you don't have a trademark, you've got nothing to sell. So, and when you do sell it, it gives you a lot more money. So a wise person told me to go and get Attitude trademarks. They didn't also tell me at the same time that you shouldn't actually be taking a word out of the dictionary. So it took me a long time, cost me a lot of money. But because I had the trademark, I had ownership over that word here in Australia. Because I then started to make really good money, I started to pick off different countries throughout the world to do it. It costs a lot of money overseas sometimes. But you can now do all of that now from I sit on the IP Australia, the trademarks board now, because they couldn't believe I got the word Attitude trademark. And so because I had that, I had ownership of it. They wanted to use my name, but the reason that not only did they like the word Attitude, they actually wanted to use it because they wanted my market share, who was buying my product, to now buy their product. Make sense? Because there's 3,500 outlets in Australia at this stage that stock the brand. They wanted those people now to be buying their stuff. Good? I had no clue what the hell they were talking about still. And I said, I thought that I had to pay you. They said, no. I said, I don't know. Now? But because I thought that right at the start, I haven't listened to a single thing you've said. So if you wouldn't mind, can we start all over again, please? And you can hear the collective, idiot. So they started again. And I'm listening this time thinking, oh, this is pretty good. And I'm thinking, well, I'm in the driver's seat apparently. Then the old Juzzy kicked in. I said, excuse me. I said, so you pay me to put my name on your product? They said, yes. I said, can I get a free television as part of this deal? They said, no problem. And they kept on talking. I'm still stuck back at no problem. I just got myself a free television. I love freebies. Like if my mates were here, and when I say this, is the majority of people don't believe what I'm about to say, but if my mates were here, they would tell you it's 100% true. I've never been fussed with making money. I was happy with $1.25. I wasn't unhappy with $1.25. So making money, yeah, nicer cars, yeah. But give me something for free, oh, shit me, I'm happy. Like I love freebies, right? So anyway, so they kept on talking. So I'm thinking, that's unreal. I said, excuse me, one more question. I said, so you got to repeat yourself. So you're giving me a free television, aren't you? Because you don't want it. They said, well, yes. So I said, do you want me to sign the deal and all that today? Is that, oh, yes. We've got to finish here so we can get the marketing people to come in. I said, all right. I said, can I get a stereo to go with my television then? No problem. Get them done. So they get to the end of it and they said, so what do you think? I said, well, I don't know. Yeah, I'll do that. They said, do you want to think about it? I said, no, I'm getting a free TV, a free stereo, nothing to think about. Then they said, would you like to negotiate? I said, didn't we just do that? I'd forgotten about the money. They said, oh, no, we pay you too. I said, oh, that's right. They said, okay, well, let's negotiate. I said, what are you doing? They said, well, will you start? I said, start what? They said, start negotiating. I said, I want to start negotiating. You start negotiating. We don't want to start negotiating. You start negotiating. Started out all over the place. I said, look, I was happy with the TV in stereo. If you want to pay me, fine with that, but I don't want to start. So I'm in this huge room by myself. I'm expecting them to say, could you just excuse us, please? No. They all get up and go to the corner. So I'm at this huge table by myself, and you can't look in their direction because they've got the group spy looking at you to make sure you're not looking at them. And they come back, and sometimes people say the dumbest stuff. They sit down at the table and they said, we've had a discussion. I said, I know, I was here. They pull out a piece of paper, write a figure down on the back of this piece of paper, put it face down on the world's longest, slipperiest boardroom table and slip it across. Now, in business, as we know, it's all about staying calm and being collected. I know that because I'm a businessman. I pick up my piece of paper, and you got that cool. There you go. Nice tie. Beautiful day. You're kidding me? Has anyone ever seen a number and it's so big, it's quicker to count the commas, right? I am the king, and always have been, of the dumb question. I don't think there is such a thing as a dumb question, but there's a amount of people that don't actually ask a question because they think it's stupid, but that could be the thing that could solve their problems. Just amazing. But I'm the bloke that just says it. First dumb question. Is that a full stop or a comma? They said, that's a full stop. And it was a 3-year deal. I said, so this gets paid over the 3 years. Because the figure, I can't tell you how much it was exactly, but it was more than 3 times my second year's turnover. 7-figure deal. So that's when I said, so this gets paid over 3 years then, 3-year deal. They said no. So they said, that's per year. Top half of my body was calm. Do you know what, though? I did look around the room right then, looking at every single person sitting there, thinking, do you look like a relative of any of my mates? Because this would be a bigger setup under the sun. And then I asked the dumb question. It's always one dumb question. I said, you know how I'm getting that, like, free TV and free stereo? They said, oh, yes. I said, does it come out of this price at all? They said, no, it's free. I said, oh, cool, I'll do that. They said, you want to, think about it? I said, no. Happy, lock it away. Then Harry Van Dyke, who became my mentor from that day on, still is, who was the worldwide CEO of Philips. I believe, this is just my theory, you've got my difference between a mentor and a coach. I'll put it this way. A mentor is someone who's done it. A coach is someone who's learnt it. I'd rather learn from someone who's done it than someone who's learnt it. So I wanted Harry to show me how to do what he did. He went from Johnson & Johnson in the warehouse to the CEO. You sit there and you go, I think you know what you're doing. So I wanted him to teach me how to take a small business and apply big business principles behind the whole thing. Right. And so Harry's been, and just off the point, when I sold, the one thing that I don't agree with, and it's for no other reason, I'm not doing this as a sales spiel, but the amount of people who think that you should be giving free advice to people amazes me, but I don't do it. If you get something for free, there's no value. When I sold Attitude, I had no contract with Harry, I had no agreement with Harry, but when I sold Attitude, I gave him 25% of the sale in a cheque, straight over. Because that was what he was worth. If you're going to get someone to help you get to the next level, there's got to be a cost. There's going to be a cost to you from a work perspective, but there's going to have to be something there to get that. Don't expect everyone to give it to you for nothing, because if you give free advice, it's going to be worth nothing to you anyway. There's no cost. Anyway, so Harry comes out. Excuse me. And at his office, he was watching the whole thing, and he goes, I like doing business with you, Justin. I said, I like doing business with you too, Harry. Anyway, I got my cheque. Now, this is 3.5 hours into my 1-hour meeting now. Got my cheque, and some people just do not have a sense of humour, because it was a huge cheque, right? The biggest cheque I ever had up until that point. So they give me this cheque, and I said to them, do you reckon I could get one of those big novelty cheques? Not even a smile. So anyway, I got my cheque. About to walk out of the door of the boardroom, I said, oh, hang on. And they all froze. I said, where's my TV and stereo? They said, I will deliver that. I said, bugger that for a joke. I've been here for 3.5 hours. And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, when I left home, I said to my wife said to me, how long are you going to be? I said, I'm going to be, I don't know, an hour and a half, I suppose. I don't know. I said, why? She goes, because I want you to do some stuff around the home. I said, okay. And she goes, so don't drop in the pub. I go, oh, I won't drop in at the pub. Why would I drop in the pub? She goes, well, don't drop in the pub. I said, I just said I'm not going to drop in the pub. Why are we talking about me dropping into the pub? I'm not going to drop into the pub. But then if I come home 3.5, 4 hours later, she's going to go, where have you been? I'm going, I've been at the meeting. No, you haven't. You've been at the pub. No, I haven't been at the pub. I've been at the meeting. Well, why did it take so long? It took so long because I said this, I said this, I said this. Then I said this. And she's going to say, excuse me, you're an idiot. And so instead of me being an idiot, if I walk in the room, the house, straight away, and there's a TV that's in front of me, she sees the TV, so I become a legend before I even get into the house instead of an idiot that I've got to explain to why it took so long. And you can see half the blokes in the room going... I said, so I'll have one of them now if that's okay. I'll just take it with me. They said, well, we don't have any here. I said, yes, you do. They said, no, we don't. I said, yes, you do. They said, no, we don't. I said, you do. They said, where? I said, in the foyer. They're all over the walls. The sour sack of a lady you got sitting out the front there, all she's doing is watching these TVs and stuff. I'll just take one of them off the wall. And they said, well, we don't have boxes. I said, I want a box. If I take this home in a box, for the next 2.5 weeks, I've got to cut up in little pieces and put it in my whiz bin. Halfway through that process, I'm going to go, oh, bugger this for a joke. This is just too hard. So I'm going to put it in the garage and wait for the next council clean-up day. And my wife's going to go, you better not forget. I'm not going to forget because you're going to freaking remind me about it every 5 seconds. But I'm probably going to be away on the weekend of the council clean-up day. So instead of her going out in the garage going, oh, he's forgotten the box. Let me just go and put it out the front. No, she's going to leave it in there to teach me a lesson. So when I get home, she's going to say, you forgot your box. And I didn't want the freaking box in the first place. I told him I didn't want the box. But you have this argument of having a box that I'm telling you I don't want, but you want me to take a box. And then you say I haven't got a box. And you can see once again the guy's going... I said, so I don't want a box. I said, okay, don't take a box. So I went out there and I picked it off. I said, I'll have that one and that one. Wraps it up in bubble wrap. Guy goes, puts it in the back of my car. Said goodbye to everyone. See you later. Said, yep, you too, mate. Walked to my car. And as I get to my car, I could see, I had the check in my hand. I could see the stereo and the TV in the back seat of my car. And I did something that most people in business no longer do. Can anyone remember the first day that someone rang you about your business? First customer? Person that commented on your business card the first? Person that, or when you were out after you started, you're out with your friends and someone, or you met someone, you go, what do you do? And you could say, now I run a business instead of I work for someone. Anyone remember that? And we got excited. But now, we're business people. Nothing really excites us anymore. Man, you've got to get excited on a daily basis. I get excited over anything. If I see one of my books in the bookstore, I get excited. If I see someone wearing a pair of my sunglasses, I get excited. If I see someone having a sticker on the back of the car, I get excited because excitement leads to passion, and passionate people produce. Right, so I'm walking to my car, and in the back is the big check, huge TV and stereo, and I go through the roof in the car, oh, man. And I look up, and here they all are. You know, get excited about stuff, even if it's a small win. Don't wait for the big thing to happen before you get excited. Don't wait for that. You've got to get excited about stuff now, just the little stuff, because that's the stuff that's going to give you that passion to continue on. You know, the reality is most people would not have gone to that meeting because they didn't know what it was about. The one thing I can guarantee you, this is a 100% guarantee, your future success will not have a great deal to do with what you currently know. I can prove it, because if it did, you should already be there by now. So there's a whole heap of shit that you don't yet know. So what we've got to be doing now is this stuff, like I said before. You've got to be outside of your comfort zone. You've got to start learning more stuff. And if you're going to learn about it, make sure it's from people who have actually done it, not people who've got a good theory at the time. So you've got to start putting this whole stuff into play. And you've got to actually take your personality and what you want your business to be, fit in with what you are. Don't get yourself too uncomfortable when you go to work and then come back into your comfort zone when you get back home. Be the same person through the whole thing. It's more fun that way, and it's easy to be you. I just to finish attitude, I ended up Licensing, because I like this licensing thing. The brand out to 180 odd companies throughout the world, from Harley, Holden, you name a company, you name a business, it had the rights to use Attitude on the product. Over 900 products sold throughout the world. I got between 12 and 22% of their turnover of those products, and that's how the business went. And that's from me turning up to one silly meeting that I didn't have any idea what was going on. And the whole success behind the brand was from me trying to piss a lady off who said I had an attitude. The reality is, if we all walked into this room and the lights were off, flick a switch, the lights come on. That's all you're looking for in business, in personal life. You've got to flick that. What's a switch? What is it? I'm pissed off with not getting ahead in my business right now. Flick the switch. Cool. That being pissed off could be enough to get you to that next level. And is it, I'm doing stuff that's not working? Cool. Stop doing the stuff that's not working. Try and do it a different way and make it work. Simple stuff. I own a lot of businesses now. I own a hair care company. As you can see, I'm wearing my own product this morning. I own a tie company. Don't wear ties. I own branding companies, website companies. I own so many different businesses now, all because and from me going, actually, I don't think business is that hard. I don't think business is that hard. Intimidate's my new thing, which is started off as a sunglass brand. And as I said right at the start, my favourite four-letter word is next. Got to a point where I didn't realise that there's one sunglass company that has the market. It's called Luxottica, has the market of sunglass. They own all the sunglass stores and all the sunglass brands that go into their sunglass stores. I think that's illegal, but we'll leave that one go. And so I can't get into sunglass stores, so I sit there and most people go, oh, it's not going to work, oh, I made a mistake, oh, next. So I just turn it around straight into a clothing brand again. Because success leaves clues. Remember that. You're up until where you are right now. Some people in this room would have, and I would say everyone, would have had a level of success. You might go not to your extreme, doesn't matter. You would have had a level of success. Future success, it's like, remember Hansel and Gretel? The nursery rhyme, they followed their breadcrumbs? You've got to find where the breadcrumbs are. You've left them. If you've got to this point, some stuff's worked for you. Go and follow where that was and do it again. It's the same, I liken success to a photocopier. If you got an A4 piece of paper, you want to make it into an A3 copy, push a different button. Still the same thing there, you're just pushing a different button. I don't think that success is that difficult, as far as I'm concerned. But I do it, as you've seen, my way. You're going to do it your way. The minute you start doing it someone else's way is when you'll find it difficult. And so what we've got to start doing is backing ourselves. There's a whole heap of stuff in business that people don't do, and that's what, there's no fluff and bubble going on with me. There's stuff, let's just make sure. See, to build a house, the size of the house is determined by the size of the foundation. So in business, we've got to make sure our foundation's fairly rock solid, because there's so many little grey areas. Coming up with an idea and turning it into a business, yay. What then goes with that? It's not that sexy, but it's extremely important. So yeah, if you go to IP Australia, it's the worst website on the sun, and then you search databases. And just my little tip, when you're searching a database or the trademarks thing, always put, when it says what class you want to search, just put 1-45. That's going to search everything, because you wouldn't even know what class you would like to search, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it's fairly convoluted. Sorry.
What did you put on the back of the T-shirt?
The first one was, in the end, it's all a matter of attitude. I didn't see attitude as a bad thing. I still don't. Now it's a trendy word. We just had a personality clash.
So that pissed off the pastor's wife, did it? Yeah.
Well, just because she said I had an attitude problem. So I was just saying, well, in the end, it's all about that anyway. But, you know, some people, you give them $1 million, they complain it's too heavy to carry home. She was one of them. Like, no matter what, there's always someone else's. She still doesn't like me to this day, which is cool. So that $50 has gone a very long way. She doesn't like me talking about it now. It's even better. I wrote about it in my books. So I'll never will. So the more she doesn't like it, the more I'm going to keep on doing it. Yeah.
So does your package go into how to trademark different things and stuff? Do you go down to that level?
Yeah, in the how to turn the idea one I do, but that's where in the one-on-one stuff, because that's where there's a whole heap of stuff that you would like to know, but there's some stuff that's probably more important that you need to know. And if it takes, look, without doing myself in, if it takes longer than an hour on the phone, I'm okay with that, because I want people to get that stuff and actually act upon it. right? And the amount, as I said before, the amount of people that, well, the reason they don't succeed is because they don't start. I'm the kick you up the rear end type person, and especially the trademark side of things is so convoluted. But I am the shortcut king and the loophole king. It takes me a long time to find a shortcut, but I also know the loopholes on how to get your trademark through, because it takes 3 to 6 months. I can get you through in 3 to 6 weeks, but not paying any extra. If you go and see a trademark lawyer, so this is where the value comes down to me, without sounding like a true wanker. If you go and see a trademark lawyer to do your trademarks, $2,000, $800 to $2,000. Do it with me, it's only going to cost you $150 by doing it direct. And most people don't know how to. There's a lot of answers that can be solved pretty quickly. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, mate.
G'day, Justin. How you going?
I cannot complain.
Mate, I really like freebies as well. You got any sunnies or t-shirts?
Nah, mate, I got none. Got nothing, actually. Nice try. The T-shirts haven't come out yet. But you know what? I'll tell you, on the T-shirt thing, the whole, I'm not sure if this will resonate with other people, but I got my new shirts printed up and they're just way freaking cool. I love skulls. They're just way cool. And I got them printed up the other day, just the samples. I was out in Sydney coming back and I stopped in at Kentucky Fried Chicken to have a healthy dinner, a lunch, and went through drive-through. All the hot day, so all my windows were undone. Cars pulling out in front of me in the car park, so I just had to wait. The guys, probably mid-30s, walked past my car. The guy goes, "Oh, nice car." I said, "Thank you, mate, thank you." And he walked past the passenger side. He comes back and goes, "Excuse me." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Is that T-shirt for sale?" I said, "No, it's not, but thank you so much for saying that." So this is, like, for me, I love the startup. I'm not sure about anyone else. Like, it was so much fun in the startup when you don't know what's going to happen. That's what I love. Like, when a business is turning over millions of dollars, yeah, look, it's hard. Got more lose then, but it's not that exciting. The startup stuff and all that sort of stuff. So I know it's a long answer to a question I can't even solve. But look, if I had T-shirts here, I'd give you a T-shirt, but I've only got one T-shirt in my bag, and that's my sample, and you're not having that. Any other questions before we finish? No? Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for coming out this early. Thank you.